Hmong journey, revealing the fortitude and depth of a magnificent people. Greetings and welcome to Explore Voltex. Today we're going to speak about Hmong history. The Hmong, a colorful ethnic group with an intriguing past, have traveled throughout Southeast Asia's landscapes and made a lasting impression on the fabric of human society. The Hmong people have a centuries-long past and have persevered through incredible hardships to maintain their unique culture and customs. This article explores the fascinating history of the Hmong people, detailing their travels, beginnings, and unwavering spirit of perseverance. Origins and migration. The Hmong people originated in the southern Chinese mountains thousands of years ago. The Hmong are thought to have immigrated from Siberia and settled in China's lush valleys, raising crops and creating a distinctive social system. However, as the area saw political upheaval and hostilities, the Hmong embarked on an incredible migration voyage. The Hmong diaspora. The Hmong people underwent a series of migrations in response to hardship, ultimately taking them to other parts of Southeast Asia. The Hmong made their first significant migration in the 18th century, fleeing to the highlands of Vietnam, Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos. The urge for independence and protection of their cultural identity propelled these migrations. The Hmong in the modern era. In the 20th century, the Hmong encountered several difficulties. The Laotian Civil War and the Vietnam War, in particular, left them caught in the crossfire of regional hostilities. Many Hmong people got involved in these wars, siding with the U.S. and the U.S. Lao government against the forces of communism. They consequently came under attack and had to leave their native countries. Resettlement and the Hmong diaspora. When the Vietnam War ended, the Hmong faced a new chapter in their history, and many fled to Western nations, including the US, France, Australia, and Canada. In their new countries of adoption, these diaspora communities were instrumental in upholding Hmong culture and highlighting their rich history. The Hmong diaspora is still thriving today, preserving a strong sense of identity and adding to the diverse fabric of their new nations. Cultural heritage and traditions. The Hmong culture's folklore, music, crafts, and traditions are vibrantly woven together. The world has been enthralled by their elaborate needlework, known as page and taub, and their rich oral history. Like the Hmong New Year, festivities include colorful traditional clothing, lively dances, and joyous customs. These cultural treasures demonstrate the Hmong people's tenacity and will to maintain their history. Triumphs and challenges. The Hmong have shown incredible tenacity and adaptation despite several historical adversities. The Hmong have managed to prosper throughout history, from their rural beginnings in ancient China to their diaspora settlements in the present day. Their noteworthy accomplishments in agriculture, medicine, and other areas testify to their unwavering determination and passion. The Hmong people's history demonstrates their remarkable grit and tenacity. The Hmong have persevered in maintaining their cultural legacy despite facing several obstacles, from their remote beginnings in China to their diaspora groups across the globe. Their narrative inspires us by highlighting the value of conserving various cultures for future generations and the strength of resiliency. Exodus from China. After living there for millennia, the Hmong people started their trip out of southern China. In the 18th century, they migrated to the mountainous regions of Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and Myanmar due to political upheaval and warfare. French colonial era. The Hmong people were subject to French colonial rule in Indochina, modern-day Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. French rule's modifications to their traditional traditions caused tensions and resistance among the Hmong. Vietnam War. The United States enlisted the Hmong as allies in the struggle against communism, which led to their significant involvement in the conflict. General Vang Pao led the Hmong in forming a covert army and their vital role in clandestine operations. However, because they cooperated with the Americans, the Hmong suffered persecution and retaliation from communist forces when the United States withdrew from Vietnam. The Secret War and Resettlement. The Hmong were subjected to escalating human rights violations and persecution as the Laotian Civil War grew more intense. Many Hmong people were compelled to leave their homeland and seek safety in Thailand and other nearby nations. Hmong refugees were allowed to start over through resettlement programs offered by the US, Canada, and other Western countries. Hmong diaspora communities. Vibrant diaspora communities were established after Hmong refugees were resettled in Western nations. The U.S. is famous as a travel destination, with sizable Hmong communities in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and California. As these groups adjusted to their new surroundings, they were vital in maintaining Hmong culture, language, and customs. Cultural revival and recognition. Hmong communities worldwide have devoted countless hours to safeguarding and advancing their cultural legacy over time. Hmong musicians, storytellers, and artists have become well known across the globe, exhibiting the beauty and variety of Hmong customs. A strong feeling of identity and pride has been fostered among the Hmong diaspora through cultural events, festivals, and organizations. Integration of the social and economic. The Hmong diaspora communities have encountered difficulties in social and economic integration as they have expanded and matured. In addition to effectively establishing themselves in various sectors, such as public service, education, healthcare, and entrepreneurship, many Hmong people have also maintained close ties to their heritage while making valuable contributions to the countries in which they have been adopted. The historical events and pivotal moments in the Hmong migration and resettlement narrative have molded the people's identity, fortitude, and resolve to safeguard their distinct cultural legacy against formidable obstacles. Engagement in the Vietnam War. As part of a larger plan to stop the spread of communism in Southeast Asia, the United States enlisted Hmong warriors to fight alongside American forces. The Hmong were valuable allies because of their reputation as expert guerrilla fighters and their understanding of the terrain. Creation of the Secret Army. The Hmong established the Special Guerrilla Units, SGUs, a covert force under the command of General Vang Pao. The SGUs played a crucial role in carrying out covert operations against the communist troops of North Vietnam and Pathet Lao. They conducted intelligence collection, sabotage, guerrilla warfare, and rescue operations. Assistance to U.S. force operations. The Hmong played a vital role in supporting U.S. aviation operations in Laos. They participated in the construction and upkeep of covert airstrips, dubbed Lima sites, that served as resupply and evacuation points for injured combatants. In addition, the Hmong directed American planes during bombing flights as ground controllers. Hmong military contributions. Despite frequently facing overwhelming odds, Hmong soldiers fought valiantly in several engagements. They ambushed enemy supply lines, launched hit-and-run attacks, and protected vital locations. The Hmong were powerful opponents due to their guerrilla tactics and understanding of the terrain. Persecution and repression. The Pathet Lao, who took control of Laos after the United States withdrew from Vietnam, persecuted and repressed the Hmong for their assistance to the Americans. The Hmong were subjected to harsh persecution, which included executions, forced labor, incarceration, and torture. Villages thought to be supporting the SGUs were attacked, resulting in a great deal of misery and mass evictions. Forced migration and refugee crisis. Thousands of Hmong people set out on dangerous treks through dangerous forests and over the Mekong River in search of safety in neighboring Thailand, fleeing persecution. The displaced Hmong found themselves temporarily housed in Thailand's refugee camps, where they had to deal with subpar living circumstances and uncertain futures. Relocation and difficulties. For many Hmong refugees, resettlement programs created by Western nations, especially the United States, offered a fresh start. However, acclimating to a new language, culture, and way of life was difficult. Notwithstanding these challenges, Hmong refugees and their offspring have accomplished amazing things in education, business, and community development. The Hmong were known for their bravery, tenacity, and willingness to make sacrifices during both the Vietnam War and the Laotian Secret War. Many people in the Hmong community and worldwide acknowledge and celebrate their accomplishments and sacrifices. The Hmong people's participation in these wars has had a long-lasting effect on their history and continues to influence who they are now. The country's Midwest and West Coast areas are home to most Hmong residents in the states. The following 3 states have the largest Hmong populations. California. California has the largest Hmong population in the U.S. There is a sizable Hmong population in the Central Valley, which includes places like Fresno, Stockton, and Sacramento. One of the most significant Hmong populations in the nation is found in Phrao, Esno in particular. Minnesota. Minnesota is another state with a sizable Hmong population. There is a thriving Hmong community in the Twin Cities metropolitan area, particularly in St. Paul. Following the arrival of Hmong immigrants in Minnesota in the 1970s, the state has developed into a center for Hmong culture and community groups. Wisconsin. A sizable Hmong community resides in Wisconsin, mostly in and around Milwaukee. In the late 1970s, Hmong refugees and their families arrived in Wisconsin, and the community has since flourished. North Carolina, Michigan, and Colorado are other states with significant Hmong populations. Even though the Hmong people are spread out over the country, these states have become important hubs for Hmong social integration, community life, and culture. The majority of Hmong people in the nation reside in California. Hmong settlers have been drawn to the Central Valley area, well known for its lush agricultural fields. Hmong communities are flourishing in cities like Sacramento, Stockton, and Fresno. Hmong cultural activities, including festivals, community organizations, and enterprises, have been centered in Fresno. Minnesota. Home to one of the most significant Hmong populations in the country, the state is primarily made up of St. Paul and the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Following the Vietnam War, Hmong refugees started to relocate to Minnesota, and since then, the population has expanded dramatically. Notable Hmong enclaves include St. Paul's Frogtown and the East Side districts, home to many Hmong-owned establishments, educational institutions, and cultural hubs. Wisconsin has a sizable Hmong population, primarily concentrated in and around Milwaukee. In the late 1970s, Hmong refugees and their families relocated to Wisconsin for employment in sectors like manufacturing. Milwaukee's Hmong community has set up cultural centers, community groups, and celebrations of Hmong history and customs. North Carolina, particularly in Charlotte and Hickory, North Carolina, has become a burgeoning hub for the Hmong community. In the 1980s and 1990s, Hmong refugees relocated to North Carolina, drawn by job prospects in sectors including furniture production and poultry processing. The Hmong community has founded cultural groups and festivals to uphold their customs and assist Hmong citizens. Michigan. A sizable Hmong population resides in Michigan, mainly in Grand Rapids. Hmong refugees and their families came to Michigan in the 1980s and 1990s in search of better economic prospects. Through community groups, language schools, and cultural festivals, the Hmong community in Grand Rapids has actively worked to maintain its artistic legacy. Colorado. The Hmong population in Colorado is expanding, especially in the Denver metropolitan region. Colorado's Hmong population consists of both refugees and migrants from other states. Hmong New Year celebrations, cultural shows, and other community gatherings are held in Denver to unite Hmong people and celebrate their unique identity. These states are now significant hubs for Hmong social integration, community involvement, and culture. To maintain a strong sense of cultural identity, promote education, and preserve their traditions, the Hmong populations in these locations have made significant contributions to the multicultural fabric of their respective states.